Hello everyone, we are at the Global Scrum Gathering in Lisbon. We are the Comparative Agility and we are the goal sponsors. This is our booth. Today we have at our podcast booth with us Alex Gray. Alex is a Certified Scrum Trainer and the leader of Agile practices. Alex, welcome.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
Yeah, I'm really well. Thank you.
How did you like the conference so far?
It's awesome. It's so nice to be face to face with people. I'm so used to being in my little office in my garden, talking to Zoom, being able to be out and actually finally talking to people, connecting with people that I've known for a long time, meeting some new people.
So, while we're talking about situations in the world, there's been many situations lately, and businesses, of course, are very impacted by it. And maybe companies right now are more focused on profit, or loss of profit, and maybe they have some strategies around that. But how important do you think to still focus on continuous improvement and bring forward the strategy for continuous improvement to help businesses today?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? That the world has been upside down, still is, turmoil in all sorts of places, in the globe, in economies, all sorts of things. I feel it's really important for organisations to try and stay relevant.
Yes.
And for me, that's a really interesting word, keeping relevance. Making sure that they're following the needs and wants of their customers, and making sure we're keeping that customer centricity, understanding that, things have changed. Maybe customers' demands and needs are something slightly different to what they might have been.
How can we ensure the effectiveness of Agile practices for the teams that are not located in the same time zone or in the same country, in the same room? What's your opinion?
Yeah, so I've learned over the last 2 years that you can deliver effective training. I would prefer to do face-to-face, but you can still do effective work virtually.
Yeah.
What I think, this is just my thought on this, but over the last couple of years, organisations have been forced to invest in supporting virtual working.
Yes.
Be it putting in place tools and practices, allowing people to have the autonomy to decide where to work from home or from an office. So actually, I think the last couple of years have probably helped with that. If you think back before that, organisations were probably already globally distributed, but maybe hadn't invested in the tools and giving the teams the space to do this. So I think the last couple of years, in a funny way, has helped. What I feel now, though, is that there can be a move back towards the office, maybe, but maybe let organisations, let teams think what's best for them.
Exactly.
Why do you think that?
Well, because we've just mentioned the conference, getting FaceTime with people, talking to people is so much more engaging, and you can explore new things and have great conversations much more effectively face to face. So I wonder if the world might move to a bit more of a blend of
hybrid.
a hybrid of the hybrid, blend of people working from home some of the time, maybe once a week, once a fortnight, having face-to-face time in an office.
There are definitely advantages and disadvantages of working from home and working from the office. So you lose and you gain somewhere. So.
Right. So the best thing to do is find the right balance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Many companies are focusing on that, although we see some big companies just trying to enforce get back to the office. So I think that's the right approach. But you mentioned tools and methodologies earlier.
Yeah.
And for companies that are just adopting Agile mindset, they're usually faced with a plethora of methodologies in their team. So it can be very confusing for them to maybe understand which one is the best for them and how they choose actually a methodology to follow. So maybe Scrum is the most popular one. So many teams go straight to the Scrum, and then they sometimes fail in executing Scrum and then just give up entirely.
Yeah.
So what is your advice there? What should companies kind of focus when they're trying to find the right methodology to be agile? working at Agile?
Yeah, it's a few things I think. I mean, firstly, somebody with some experience of doing that in the past to help guide the organisation would be helpful. But for me, it's first of all understand what problem are you trying to solve, because each of the frameworks, methods have probably got different different outcomes that they're going to give you. So if you are spinning up a new product, a new team, Scrum's a great place to start. I would say that, of course. But yeah, that's going to help with product development. If you're looking for efficiency in your system, then that's where maybe the Kanban method might be something more appropriate. And I think having that knowledge that the different methods have got different outcomes, having someone with that experience can really help organisations decide, well, what should we do?
Basically, it all depends on the needs that you have. So
You've got to understand, what is the problem you're trying to solve?
exactly. What role do you believe that Agile assessments play in a continuous improvement strategy?
That's an interesting question. So I think the thing with any kind of assessment, whether it be Agile or anything else, you've got to be careful of the questions you're asking, because they can then drive the behaviours of the teams or whoever it is that's being assessed. If they know they're being measured on something, then their behaviour will adapt towards it. And I've seen some Agile assessments that are pretty poor in the past. So I'll give you a couple of examples. I've seen one there was a question in the assessment that said something like, is all of the work your team's doing in the user story format? It wasn't. So what did I see teams doing? They're just rewriting all of their requirements in the user story format. I didn't really understand why you might use that as a method. So that's the main sort of thing. I feel like you've got to be careful with the way those questions are written. What outcome are you trying to achieve, and measure those outcomes?
Yeah, that sounds very un-Agile question to me. It's very strict.
Yeah. Another one I've seen is, does your team have a team working agreement? No, the people didn't. So right, we'll stick one up on the wall. Yes, we've got a working agreement. Now we're Agile. They've not changed any of the way they're working. So for me, it's got to be, the questions have got to be around what are the outcomes you're trying to achieve.
So have you heard of or used the Agile coaching personally?
So through the Scrum Alliance, of course, we all get free access to the Scrum Master personal improvement tool and the product owner one as well. So I've seen those and I've used those myself, and I do try and recommend them to all of my students as well. So yes.
Thank you.
No worries.
Good to hear.
No worries.
So now I really wonder, what is the one thing that you know now after all the path you've taken and you're so far along in your career, but what is the one thing that you wish you knew when you were just starting?
This is an interesting question.
Yeah.
So the one thing, if I think back to when I was young, I hated school. School was not the thing for me, and I was looking forward to finishing school and getting into the sort of the world of work. And I did that, and everything was great. But what I realise now as I'm older, actually, learning is a lifelong activity.
Yeah.
You feel like when you're young, school's about learning and then you can go and work, but actually everything we do.
You think you're done.
Yeah, you think you're done, that's it, I'm done with learning, and we move on.
Never again.
But now, in a funny way, yeah, that's it, right? Because now I'm like, well, actually, no, this is really important. We're still all learning about how to do things, what people want, how they, and now I love learning.
Yeah.
When I was younger, not so much. Now, it's what I personally thrive on, and I think a lot of other people do too.
So I have a bonus question.
Bonus question.
Since you love learning, and that's pretty much what everybody has to get used to if they want to have anything done right. When you're starting, of course, and even if you're open to learning, there's so many things to learn, So do you think like maybe an assessment and pointer would help you along the way so you can focus maybe on your path, and what is the maybe your advice for somebody just starting on this journey? Like what type of what should they learn first? What should they focus first on learning and developing moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. So I think the first thing is to be aware of the things that you don't know about, right? So using a tool to maybe sort of self-reflect and self-identify maybe some areas that you want to go away and learn about, or even coming to a conference and hearing what some other people are talking about, attending the open space and hearing what subjects people want to talk about. Yeah, for me that's where I would start off with. You've got to identify what you don't know. Use a tool, go and talk to people, and that'd be my recommendation.
Makes sense. Yeah. Alex, thank you so much
No
for
worries.
joining our podcast.
That's
And
all right.
I hope you have a great time at the conference.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been wonderful. Thank you. Bye.